Hello, my name is Marcia Corona, and this is my final project for my art appreciation class. The museum that I chose for this final is the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, Netherlands. The reason why I chose this museum is because I was so interested in Van Gogh's Starry Night. But upon researching the museum and going on the virtual tours, I did find different pieces that did pique my interest. So one of the first pieces that did pique my interest was the Corson after Eason. I'm not quite sure if that's how you pronounce this piece's name, but here it is. The subject is a Japanese Corson woman in a yellow background surrounded by a lake. We also see that there are different creatures around the lake. For instance, right here we see what we can presume is two cranes. Here is a frog. Up here we see that it could be two people on a boat surrounded by bamboo. So as for context, at the time, Van Gogh had been studying Japanese prints and tried using different techniques and created this painting. It was then printed on a magazine, which was this spread. As for color, there was a variety of colors. It was primarily primary colors and secondary colors from the color wheel. We see that it uses a lot of yellow right here in the box from the background and it being used on the bamboo. We also see that some of the hair pieces are using blue and some of the pop out points are red. Some of the secondary colors are used in the lilies, bamboo, and also the dress. The dress does have two complementary colors, the red and the green do contrast a bit to make the designs pop out more, which I do really like. Historical context. This is a quote pulled from the Van Gogh Museum. The scene has a hidden meaning. Gru means crane and grenouille means frog, which in French is slang words for prostitute. So some people at the time probably didn't like the woman in this photo's background, but it's a piece of art and it is really nice. Seascape. The next piece is a seascape near the Les Saints Marines de la Mer. This painting is the seaside scape near the St. Louis Maries de la Mer. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong and butchering it, but it was basically the viewpoint of the seaside from what seems to be the beach from what I read was a farming village. So at the time he was going, he took a trip from Arles in south of France, and this is where he painted this. For context, the website that I used, I think this was the Van Gogh Museum, stated that Van Gogh had always been enthusiastic about the seaside because of the display of vibrant colors. And as for color, he mainly uses cool tone colors like the blues and greens of the sea and sky. But there is some pop of yellow in the waves, and there is the red signature at the bottom left that left a lot of people questioning it, which has led to many people writing about it, and even on the Van Gogh website, people are still not sure why he chose that color or chose that spot to put his signature in. This is another piece that I really, really liked. It's probably like my second favorite piece of the whole museum. It's really pretty. The third piece that I chose was a self-portrait with a gray felt hat. I did want to choose a self-portrait because Van Gogh did have a lot of self-portraits, and I did want to include one. Subject was, well, a self-portrait, and it was of Van Gogh himself wearing a white felt hat. It is in the title. Context at this point, Van Gogh had been living in Paris for 2 years and he wanted to experiment with some techniques that he had learned. So that technique from the website was the lines that give this painting texture. So that is a technique that he said he learned around this time. For color, he mainly used complementary colors like blue and orange, but some people were very confused to why he would use those colors, and it was a bold move. Well, the Van Gogh website says that people believed it was a bold move considering the two colors. Well, he mainly used blue and white, but his beard and some parts of his eyes does have a pop of gray. As for for this piece, I cannot say that I really like it. I didn't really like most of his self-portraits, but for texture, I really did like what is going on in this piece. As for the last and final piece that I talk about is skull of a skeleton with a burning cigarette. This is a piece which has what the title states, a skeleton that is looking off to the side with a cigarette in its mouth. So for context, this piece was drawn around the time that Van Gogh was studying at the Art Academy in Antwerp. So historically, pieces or art academies didn't really require students to paint skeletons, but this showed the public, it showed others that he understood anatomy and this displayed it. So this was more of the pieces that didn't have so much color. As you can see, it's just black, white, and maybe brown. So this is like my now favorite piece that he has made. I just love, you can see that the movement of the smoke is going up. You know that there's stuff going on. It's not just a flat piece that doesn't have anything. He's looking off the side. You can see all the detail in it. It's just a really good piece. And conclusion, well, all of these pieces are painted by Van Gogh. These are some similarities. All of these pieces were painted by Van Gogh. All these pieces were from oil and cotton. I was confused at one point for the first piece because a website talked about how he was trying to work with wood at first, but instead just did oil on canvas. For the most part, a lot of the paintings that were in the museum and between these ones, most of them had vibrant colors and had a lot going on, a lot of movement. Most of his paintings have movement in it and a lot of texture, which is one reason I really like Van Gogh. Differences, the amount of color used in the variety of each piece does differ. There could be just a monotone piece like the skeleton with the cigarette, or there could be a piece like the courtesan woman, the Japanese woman from the first piece. There could be a lot of colors, but overall, he was using different techniques and different textures, different patterns, different colors and tones. But considering all the paintings I saw, I did like most of them, like the seaside one and the skeleton one. Did not like the self-portrait, but I do really think that the first picture did have a lot go on. There was a lot to see, and when you look at it, you see all the detail, and it is quite magnificent. So citation, and thank you very much.